And welcome to another video. I'm currently working on my next tutorial style video. It will be about retrieval augmented generation and how you can build up a pipeline and a chat app that is running on the KNIME Community Hub team plan. I wanted to throw in a short video to cover the current season, so season 2 of the Game of Nodes. If you don't know what Game of Nodes is, it's a tournament competition organized by the KNIME team, where teams team up in groups of 2 to 3 people, and then there are data science and data analytics challenges thrown at them. And at the end of each round, there are teams being eliminated and others advance. So right now we're looking at the tournament tree of the round of 8 of the current season. So there are 8 teams left, and there are 4 games being played, and each team, each game is given a different challenge. So I wanted to take the time to share a summary of my review of all of those 8 submissions, and also share with you the at times very complex tasks that they were given. So with that said, let's get into the first one. The first game I want to cover is the Dothraki Data Horde versus Team J2K. And in order to do that, let's maybe show you where you can place your vote, because this time the community gets to vote. There's a thread on the KNIME forum, which I will link below, where you can vote for each of these teams. And you can also go ahead and find where all these solutions are being saved. And the easiest way to grab them is once you're here on the KNIME Hub, you sign in. Once you're signed in, you will see this download button. If you click the download button, it will download the entire folder, which contains all the 8 solutions nicely organized in subfolders. And you can simply import that into your KNIME Analytics platform and then start reviewing them. Let's now jump into KNIME and let's look at the first challenge. Feel free to pause and read through this entirely yourself. In a nutshell, this challenge was about using KNIME to find potential locations, also interacting with an LLM to host an event in Berlin, and it should be close to the KNIME Berlin office. And in the end, it was also required to provide a static PDF report to the event manager that you're working for. The first solution is of the Dothraki Data Horde. I did not manage to run this, so in terms of portability, it was a bit difficult. There were many extensions being used. Not all of them are Community Hub extensions. There was a Palladian extension used, whereas it's a well-known extension. It's a bit more complicated to install, and I couldn't find any notes or documentation around that. However, when I inspected the PDF report, let's do that. Let's open it up. This is really nicely formatted. Like they have icons, they have the logo in the top right, KNIME is in the top left. Space very efficiently used. Like this type of layout is not easy to do. I looked into that. For all of these things, I actually injected custom HTML and text views, and then you get a high-level summary of the venues that are available. You see the map, and then they actually managed to pull in from Google the reviews. They also built in some hallucination mitigation, where they checked that the venues existed with the Google API, and so on and so forth. So really impressive, really complex solution. There must have a lot of time gone into that. Really impressed how that worked out, and they even have a backup where they explain how they scored all of that. So feel free to read through that in your own time. Paired up against them was Team J2K. They actually included documentation on how to use their solution, so that I really like. And they broke it down into a couple of pieces. So they actually used the Giscard LLM scanner to mitigate hallucinations. And then they also had a nice dashboard. It looks like I won't be able to run that right now, but let's at least take a look at the PDF report. Yeah, PDF report also very nicely formatted. There are some minor issues that are picked up, like the header here is cut off. Here's a bit of text cut off. The table is overflowing to the next page. I mean, that said, they obviously still did exactly what they were asked for and also included some additional metrics. And the map, so all the requirements in my view were met. That said, on balance, I have to give it to the Dothraki data hot there, like their output is just next level. So let's just go back to the forum and let me quickly cast my vote. So that's done. Let's move on to match number 2. So the challenge for the second game played between Comfortably KNIME and Team LCP, I believe, was about predicting user clicks on ads. So they had to train test and optimize a random forest model to predict whether a user will click or not on an ad. And they also had to use the Giscard framework to identify any issues in their predictive pipeline, and then in the second round address them. And lastly, to provide the client a PDF report that also outlines the explainable AI techniques that they used to, let's say, document the model decision-making process. Also not an easy challenge. And they also did a good job just looking at this workflow. I mean, there could be a couple of more comments here and there. Let's run the app. So they actually made sure that the workflow was uploaded in executed state so that you can easily run it without having to execute everything. So lots of metrics, screenshots of what Giscard said, and so on and so forth. I actually really like this. And then let's also take a quick look at their report. We open that report. Here it's in PDF version, and it looks almost exactly the same. I mean, a bit of overflow of text in between pages, but that's okay. They formatted in bold like the key topics that they wanted to highlight. So that's job really well done. The team that they were up against was, don't let me lie, Team LCP. So let's take a look at their solution. So here they also did their job, uploaded in executed mode. Also a complex workflow. They used the XAI component that KNIME provides. And let's maybe inspect what this looks like. Okay. Maybe in this component we can take a look what it looks like. This also looks quite nice. Lots of charts in there and also the images and screenshots that they were asked to take. But let me quickly reset this. And when I then execute again, I can download this. So this is their report. I mean, the screenshots you cannot really read. But everything else looks fine, I think. But if I go back to Comfortably KNIME, I think overall I'm more of a fan of what Comfortably KNIME did. So let me cast my vote for the second game. Let's move on to game number 3. So game 3 is between the Guascoons and Team Nirvana. Let's take a look at what their challenge looked like. So here's the challenge that they had to face. I think this was the most difficult one that the teams had to tackle. So this is about analyzing for customers, which is a family that lives in Thailand, to analyze in which country in the EU they have the best chances to get their visas approved based on data. and that's supposed to be done using network analysis. And once that has been figured out, there needs to be some travel trip planning under certain conditions, where cities shouldn't be more than 500 kilometers away from each other. And then the last part is that a large language model should be asked to interpret certain data and compile insights in a report again. So let's take a look at the first solution, which is from team the Guascoons. They provided one interactive data app. And this is actually really nice. At the top, you can download a report. You can select your citizenship. So they actually make this work not only for Thailand, but for pretty much any nationality. You then get the chances, like in Austria, they should apply for. There's like a network diagram, which also color codes where they are more likely to get their things approved. Then there's an overview, another overview. And down here you can then decide choose certain parameters, and that then spits out a route. So let's just try that this works. I'm Australian, that's my second citizenship. Okay, I managed to generate the report as a PDF, so let's take a look at that. So this is for when I selected Australia. So it updates the graph. Obviously, it looks like an Australian passport is quite good if you want to go to Europe. And down here, I selected that I wanted to start in Munich, and it then suggested a very popular route from Munich to Prague, from Prague to Vienna. I mean, you could have thrown in Budapest as well. And then there's a final recap. So this is really a high quality solution, and I really like the ease of use and the interactivity in that app that they created, and also how they managed to provide the PDF report to the user via a download button. Let's now take a look at their competitors, Team KNIME. So they provided multiple data apps. They also included a header, which makes it easy to navigate where you are. So I'll just briefly showcase all of this. This is not flexible, the same as the other solution, so you can't do this for another nation. At least I didn't find any dropdown, but then again, that also wasn't a requirement. Yeah, so they did what they needed for the Thai family. So here's a way you can configure your tour. So if I change that to London, it recalculates and suggests like multiple options. So that's also really nice. And the map is there, and then some more charts. So this all works quite nicely. It's also then being written as a PDF report. And this is a bit of gimmicky, but I really like that you can actually subscribe, and you actually then get an email. Let me quickly show you. So that actually works. There's some key information in there. I would have wished that the report is actually attached to that, but that's okay. You can't have everything. So the one issue that I found though is, let's take a look at the report, that they must have used a lot of views that are not compatible with the reporting extension. So in this report, there's a lot of stuff that's not supported. And I guess that makes it a little bit less useful. And together with the fact that the other team went above and beyond and made their solution work for other countries as well, I will actually give them my vote. So my vote goes to Team the Guascoons. Let's cast that vote. And let's move on to the last game. So round of 4 between Team LST and Team Code of Notes was about getting a meal recommendation engine going to drive more sales for an online food retailer. And the goal was to create an interactive app where the customer can select certain preferences and then gets recommendations for 3 different recipes for each day of the week. And let's maybe inspect the solution of Team LSD first. What I really liked about their solution, they had an annotation here. They actually bothered to put a workflow description in with an annotation. So all of the data that they had, they actually binned into categories to make it very easy for the user to make the selections. Let's open up the interactive app. So you can select between different preparation times and cooking times. So I'm not that good of a chef, so I like everything easy. And then you can even, make certain other changes. And whenever you change your preferences, you get slightly different meal recommendations and links to recipes. So it's very easy to use and very useful. Well done. Team Code of Notes also did a good app, which I'll show on screen. I don't have time to run this right now. There's one node that bottlenecks everything, where more than 1,000 images need to be read. And I also liked their approach. However, I feel they did not solve the problem to show different meal options for different days, because it just shows all the meals that meet certain criteria. And also the sliders are nice on the visual perspective, but I think it's a bit of overkill in terms of usability. That's why I will give my vote in this matchup to Team LSD. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see which teams advance. Looking forward to seeing more high quality solutions for the challenges in the semifinals by all the teams. I wish all the teams best of luck and hope that all of you advance, knowing that not everyone can, and hope that you can keep up the motivation to grind through the next couple of rounds. Thank you very much, and until next time.